Hey paper dolls, it's Madeline. Welcome back to my channel. I am here today to do a flip through of my first 5 glue book junk journals for the season. I plan on doing more. I'm not exactly sure how many more, but I plan on doing some others, but I wanted to go ahead and put these 5 out there because I just got them finished. I'm so excited about them. So let's get started with the flip through. All right. We're going to start out with the 2 of spades. Okay. And when you're watching this video, these will be listed in my shop and this will be the identifier. All right. All of them are going to come with a paper clip dangle, all right? And I beaded this dangle. We've got a button at the top, and you have buttons and charms. That's a vintage bingo piece. You got a mini milk cap. That's a glass bead, okay? So you get one of those with each journal, okay? And these are all the smaller Southern Living books, Christmas books. So these are all going to be about a little over 9.5, like 9 3/4 by, let's see here, 8. Okay. So these are not my big ones. These are more of a, a smaller size. On all of these, I hoard my sari silk, but I got my sari silk out, and they each have a sari silk closure. Okay. And they also have eyelets. I have eyelets in all of them, okay, to hold your closure. All of the spines are vintage Christmas fabrics, so either Cranston or, something similar. Okay, and this is the spine on this one. Okay, and this is a vintage trim I picked out for it. And I love the backs of these. They're so cute. Okay, so let's flip through this one here. All right. So as normal, these all have 4 signatures. I like to start out with the scrapbook paper. And then I have a good variety of pages. This is a cookbook page. This is a acetate sheet, music paper. This is an envelope. Embossed wallpaper, a doily, green tea dyed paper, Christmas card, vintage ledger, okay. Just a good variety of sizes and textures and pages like I like to do in my journals, okay. Second signature here. Okay, you've got a flyleaf page, some vintage wrapping paper, goodness, coloring sheet, okay, some deli paper. This is from a Christmas crafting book, music paper, envelope in the center. Okay, so a good variety of vintage and newer pages. Okay, third signature. This is cool. This is a triplicate invoice here. Vintage ledger. Let's see. This is, I think, from a Christmas crochet book. A really old, y'all. I've been hoarding these for a long time. Poinsettia, Christmas sack. I finally decided to put some in there. You've got a Christmas card in the center of this one. And then here you can see, it's dual, not triplicate. Whoops. All right. And then final signature. Okay, this is about a Christmas begonia, ledger, Christmas card, music, another little envelope. And this is actually a post-it. Yep, Christmas begonia. And so that's it. They all have normal, like, at least 144, probably closer to 160 pages. So this is going to be the 2 of spades. Okay. And then I want to go ahead and show y'all the goodie pack before I go over the others, because I have the goodie pack for this one right here. All right. So with these in the goodie pack, first off, you are going to get the entire text block of the book, of your book. I didn't put anything in it, so you are going to get all of this to fussy cut, glue down, you know, do fun things with. Okay. And then I included some other pages, some scrapbook pages, some napkins for decoupaging. That's one of my favorite things to do in these books is decoupage. There's some journaling cards, some paper, some music paper. I did include some cardstock. This is an envelope, ledger, other types of paper, and then a really good assortment of this. It's like a letter writing computer paper, but I just absolutely love it at Christmas. I love the borders on it. You could do tip-ins with it. Look how cute this Santa is. Adorable. And then angels, more cardstock, and more scrapbook paper. Okay. And then, let me get this all put back together. Okay, and then, let's see, I can't remember what else I have in here. Oh, okay, these are fun. These are some cookbook pages from a really old cookbook. I mean, you could see, look at the foxing, it's a children's cookbook. And then these are some pages from a children's Christmas craft book that are really fun. And then everybody is going to get their offcuts of their paper that was used in their book. Everybody is going to get some trim and fabric that I used in the creation of the book, and that will depend on how much I had left over, how much you're going to get. Everybody's going to get some whale tail tabs. And then, oh, I hate to open this, but I'm going to show y'all. This is like the separate kind of goodie bag that I did for every single one. I made a fun envelope, and this can be glued down in your book. And it just has a really nice assortment of Christmas, you know, ephemera items. There's a bookmark in there, you know, journaling cards, and every single one has got an envelope, and I decoupaged these, and it's got lots of materials in here to use, like for clusters and stuff. I take I can't get my words out. I take all of my punches and I punch out a bunch of Christmas paper, and it's really great for clusters and stuff like that. So you guys get that. Okay. And then other than that, you get some tickets, a math flashcard, some stickers, and some other, you know, Christmas cards and things like that to use in your book. Okay. And then for every single one, and again, I mean, these are going to slightly vary. I put together a little fabric bundle. Okay, and this one is tied up with some fun rickrack. All right, and this has got a piece of quilt in it. And then, I mean, these are all going to be very random, but I just went through and took some fun, scrappy pieces of fabric and lace. That's a piece of velvet. Here's some, like, I don't know if this is like kind of like a shoestring, but it's metallic. Just some really fun pieces, and they may be kind of weird shaped pieces, but I just put them in there for you to make clusters and do whatever. Everyone has got a piece of lace like that, and a little bling, and I mean, they're all just going to be a little bit different. Okay, but you're going to get like a good little assortment, and I didn't want to overwhelm you with like a ton of fabric, but I mean, like, these are fun to cut and use like at the top of a page. You know, I just didn't really want to spend like waste a lot of fabric by cutting it down just perfectly, you know, because I feel like you can use whatever shape it's in creatively in your journal. Plus, this is a lot of this is really old, like vintagey fabric, and I don't know, I hate to waste it. I like to keep it all and use it. Okay, so I'll tie that back up in a minute. But anyway, that's what you're going to get in your goodie pack. All right, so now that we've gone over that, let's go on to the 3 of spades. Okay, and this is the dangle. Okay, these are glass bead there, your milk pog, got a bell, some jingle bells, some vintage buttons. This one's got a little Santa charm, and your button at the top. Okay, and your sari silk tie with your eyelet. I did 3 of the cookies and 2 that have the angel and the toys. Okay, and then this is the spine. Again, this is vintage fabric, vintage trim. Okay, and so we'll start the flip through, and they are all going to be very similar on the inside. You got ledger, your green tea dye. This is from a crochet book. Your acetate, wrapping paper, Christmas carols, a Christmas crafting book, your envelope in the center. Just another, you know, great assortment of old, new layers, textures. These are just so much fun. If you're traveling, take it in the car, take your glue stick if you're on an airplane, and just glue, tear and glue, cut and glue. Got your envelope here. You know, add tip-ins, journal. There's just, you know, so much that you can do with these. I did try to include a coloring sheet in each one because I think those are just really fun. There's that fun poinsettia bag again. Y'all, I love poinsettias so much. It was hard for me to... But then I'm like, what am I going to do with these bags, you know? Flyleaf page, old ledger. I did try to make sure each book had like the same amount of vintage ledger and stuff like that. Okay. Really fun. Okay, so that is going to be the 3 of spades. Okay. Move that one to the side. Okay, and then the 4 of spades is the other doll book. Okay, and this charm is a little bit different. I put some of this really old school ribbon. I guess it's like, you know, you used to wear your ponytails when you were little. It's not ribbon. I can't think of it. Yarn, maybe. You got your bell. You have a little doily. Got a little gingerbread man, vintage buttons. Super fun. Got some wood beads on that one. Okay. And then this is the vintage fabric, vintage trim. Okay. And your ribbon. Your sari silk ribbon, which I just think these made... I love the way these tie a pretty bow. It just makes it look like a present. You know, like a present under the tree that ties such pretty bows. And then, okay, here you go. So pretty. Right. And then we'll do the flip through. Again, the same types of elements. I have got a couple little golden books pulled, a couple books for larger glue book journals pulled. So I'm going to start working on those and, you know, just kind of see what I can get done. Of course, you can email me or send me a message on Etsy, you know, if you're interested in anything in particular. I can see if I have it. I've mentioned in other videos, this was the year for books. I found all the books this year. I still have so many, which I guess is a really good problem to have. That's fun embossed. But yeah, and especially these with the white covers. Christmas cactus. I love that. Okay. Card. Music paper. Here's your little post-it in the center of that one. Okay. And so that is going to be the 4 of spades right there. I better clip this back on here so things don't get all confused. Fun. All right, and then next I have got the 5 of spades, and this is what the dangle looks like. These are all glass beads, bell here, your little milk cap, some vintage beads, a snowflake. Okay, and then this is that really, really vintage seam binding. Y'all, I cannot find this stuff. I had a hard time getting my hands on this, but it just, I mean, coordinated so perfectly with the spine. You've got your green sari silk on this one. Okay. And then on this one, I just went with a more classic gingham, thank you, on the spine. All right. And so we'll get started with the flip through. They all have different fabric and different trim. They all kind of have their own little personality. And when I was putting together the signatures, I did them all differently. So I would take the book and take the pages I had pulled and just start to put them together. And I try to, you know, organize the signatures where there's like a good variety of different kinds of paper in each signature. I think it makes it more fun. Christmas card. I love these pages here. There's your acetate and your coloring sheet, an envelope, really old ledger. Okay. Music, there's your envelope. More music. Recipe. Okay. So that one is the 5 of spades. And if I have anyone out there that is a fan of the big tassels, those are going to be up and coming on my next, some of my next journals are going to have the big chunky tassels. So don't worry, they're coming. 6 of spades. Okay. And this one, you've got wooden beads, your buttons, your milk pog. There's a few bells on it. Remember these like old school beads? I put some of those on this one. I tried to make those all a little bit different as well. Got your green sari silk closure. Let's see. Okay. And then another really fun vintage fabric on the spine. Is that not so fun? And then I did some of this vintage red eyelet. Okay. And then we'll start the flip through. Okay. Some little journaling cards, your envelope, different kind of ledger, music, post-it. Isn't that fun? I love that. Okay, second signature. music. I love this vintage wrapping paper too. So pretty. And then this one has, I guess this one's got the poinsettia. They all have like a Christmas flower card. Yeah, fun. Y'all, I had so much Christmas stuff. It has been, I mean, I know I've sold a lot on my YouTube sales, but oh my goodness, I've had so much. I've been having to really go through and keep it organized, or I just feel like I get buried under it and I can't do anything, you know what I mean? But I feel like it's going a lot better than it was. That's such pretty paper. I think probably what I should do is go ahead and just pull things and start putting them in a box for, you know, next Christmas or whatever. I love these. And I left this like open like that because you can either cut it off or you can glue it here and have it tuck here. You know, there's a lot of different options you can do for that. So, all right. So that is the 6. All right, my friends, these are going to be listed in my Etsy. I will have the link below. Of course, everything over $35 ships free in my Etsy shop. So these will ship for free. Shipping price is included in the price of the book. And y'all let me know if y'all have any questions. I really would love to know which one is your favorite. I know they're all very similar, but the spine fabrics were just so fun to pick out on these. And I feel like they just kind of have their own, all of them have their own personality. So I hope y'all have a great day, paper dolls, and we'll talk in my next video. Bye.